Ousmane Dembele drops back into midfield. Bayern's centre-back Tau breaks away from the defensive line. Nuno Mendes runs into the open space in the half-space. So what will happen? Bayern's centre-back Upamecano runs with him. They get the ball and immediately play it deep to the striker. Serge Gnabry comes slightly forward and opens up a gap in the middle of the opponent's defensive line. This scene not only leads to a 1-0 lead against PSG in the Champions League, it is the key example of Bayern's playing philosophy, a system designed to provoke the opponent into pressing, a tactic that wins as soon as the opponent presses. Let's take a look at this scene. Bayern starts the build-up in a 2-3-3 formation. Both fullbacks move slightly into the half-space. Kimmich, Kane, and Gnabry drop deeper, while the two wingers Allies and Diaz stay wide. This creates a large space in the opposing defense. The players dropping deeper stretch the gap in the defense vertically and the wingers horizontally. Lamers thus runs into this space as a fullback and takes over the striker position. In doing so, he pulls PSG's winger with him, as otherwise a 2-on-1 situation would arise. Pacho is now faced with an impossible decision. Either he goes with Lamers, closes the gap and leaves Kane plenty of space to turn, or he continues to press Kane. Pacho has decided to return to the defensive line, which has cost him time. This gives Kane time to look up and get an overview of the situation. He has free space without pressure, which is dangerous for the opponent as Kane has great passing quality. Bayern's positional play forces the opponent into mistakes. Pacho doesn't know what to do and now tries to close down the passing lane, which still leaves space behind him. Kane plays a deep pass to Lamers and causes problems for PSG's defense again, as Hakimi now has to replace the centre-back, which gives Diaz space on the outside. Now a typical tactical element that Bayern often uses, the full-back underlaps the winger. This gives the winger either a passing option or space in the center, where in this case Gnabry is standing, resulting in a dangerous scoring opportunity. This scene is similar again, with one small but very important difference. First, you can see that all Bayern players are moving backwards. Only one is not, Konrad Lamers. He runs back into his space behind the advancing center-backs. So, once again, a long ball into the center is expected, but there is a difference. Can you see it? Diaz moves into the center, which opens up a second space, the space on the wing for Stanisic. Unfortunately, Neuer's pass is too short, requiring a new attempt. Almost all of Bayern's players are in their own third, which also pulls PSG's players out of defense and creates gaps in the back line, perfect for runs from deep. The opposing defense is very high up the pitch due to the overload in their own half, allowing Todd to easily play over the back line with a high ball. Another reason why Bayern cannot be pressed is their positional play. In this example, you can see Allies as a center-back, Jonathan Tah as a defensive midfielder, and Upamecano at number 10, since PSG tries to press man-to-man. It is almost impossible to predict which direction the Bayern players will move in, as no one is in their correct position. So it is expected that Upamecano, as a center-back, would have to drop back deeper, but he has space on the right and left that he can use thanks to the freedom in Kompany's system. Upamecano moves into the space on the right and thus has a considerable advantage, as Fabian first has to react to Upamecano's run and completely misjudges his approach. However, positional play and opposite movements are weapons used by other top teams such as PSG, which are very effective against Bayern's man-to-man pressing. Deep movements lure defenders out of their line and open up gaps that are exploited by deep runs. Since Bayern's players follow their opponents, this puts enormous pressure on them, but it also has its weaknesses. On the one hand, it only takes one player to overcome, and on the other hand, PSG directs players into unfamiliar positions, which now makes Luis Diaz a center-back. When you press Bayern, you open up gaps in your own defense. Bayern exploits these spaces with runs from deep, where the opponent doesn't expect them, such as Lamers from the right-back position. Every player can play every position. By overloading their own half, Bayern lure the opponent out, meaning that only a few players are needed on the back line to run into the space behind the defense, which Bayern exploit with long balls. That is why you cannot press Bayern.